Hi everybody, welcome back, or welcome if you're a new person. This is your first video. I'm happy you're here. So today I'm going to show you guys how easy it is to make pierogies, and I thought it was a good time to do that, so seeing the Lenten season isn't too far off in the future. And if you don't know what pierogies are, they're about this big. They are a Polish dumpling filled with mashed potatoes, onions, sometimes sauerkraut, sometimes even meat or sweets. But traditionally it's potatoes and onions. And I used to belong to a really good-sized Catholic church. And it was originally founded by the Polish here in the Milwaukee area. And so every year before Lent got here, usually the week leading up to it, the women would all get together and make hordes of pierogies, because they would normally eat them on Fridays when they would abstain from meat. So you could put cheese and all kinds of yummy things in there, and it would keep you, it's a stick to your ribs kind of thing. I mean, think about it. It's potatoes and pasta together. It's wonderful. And it's also the time of year, I don't know if you guys know about this either, for puchkis. And if you've never heard of those, they are a fabulous Polish donut, and they're filled. And it's real similar to like a jelly donut. And they would typically, they still do, typically eat those on the Tuesday before Ash Wednesday. So yeah, it's like a Mardi Gras or Fat Tuesday thing. And the Polish would make them and eat them then, hoping to use up all their lard and sugar and fruit, because that too they tried to abstain from. Oh goodness. During Lent. So let's go and get started. Well, if you happen to have leftover mashed potatoes, you can go ahead and use those. Otherwise, mine just finished boiling here, and I would say use between 1.5 pounds and 2 pounds of potatoes, and you can choose whatever variety you like. Just you got to get those boiled up, and while they're boiling, you're going to want to get the other part of it going here. So I'm taking about 1 tablespoon of butter here. Sorry, I have such a drippy nose today. And to that, I am going to add, this was about maybe half of a large onion chopped up. And we're going to have this on a fairly lowish heat, I'd say medium low, because we want to brown these, but we want to do it slowly so that you don't run the risk of you know, them burning or scorching. So medium low heat, and just saute everything until it's brown. Okay, the potatoes are ready, so I'm just going to start mashing them. And I really do suggest mashing instead of whipping, because number one, it just, I don't know, tastes more homemade to me, I guess. But I feel like if you get too thin of your potatoes, you run the risk of them leaking out. That's why if you're making your potatoes fresh like this, don't put any milk in them. Now normally when I make mashed potatoes, I do put milk in them, but not when I'm using them for pierogies. There's a lot of potatoes there. I might have leftovers, but anyhow, so I did get the onions done. They're nice and browned up. I'm going to add those. Did get a couple of scorched ones in there, but what are you going to do? Pay better attention. That's what you're going to do. Oh goodness, things happen, don't they? So we're going to get that all in there. It smells great. Love the smell of fried onions. And then we are going to add to it, oh, just a couple of shakes there of garlic powder. And then cheese. Now this is a half a cup of cheddar. Traditionally, the Polish would use a farmer's cheese, or here in the States, ricotta or even cream cheese. But I had the cheddar on hand. I think it'll do just fine. And so that's what I'm going to use. Use what you like, but like I said, the traditional is more of a farmer's or ricotta cheese. We're just gonna mix it all up. Make sure it's all incorporated. Okay, looks good to me. Now we're just gonna let this sit here and let it cool down, and we'll go start our dough. Alrighty, for the dough, we have in here 2½ cups of flour. And to that, we're going to add, oh, a ½ teaspoon of salt. And mix that around just a little bit. Then we are going to add a 1/3 cup of sour cream. Need a spoon to get that out of there. So just get it in there. Well, that's as good as it's going to get. Then we're going to add an egg, 1 large egg. And then to that, 2/3 cup of water. And that's it. We're going to stir it around and get it going here. Makes a great dough. Okay, it's looking good. Now we're going to turn it out onto the table. You got flour out there. If you're doing it on your countertop, the table, whatever, make sure you have flour down. It's looking a little sticky at the moment, but that'll clear up. When doughs tend to be a little sticky like this, you might want to add some flour to your hands too. Get some on there. Get that flour in there really well, because you don't want it sticky. Just going to spread a little bit more here. There. And what you're going to do with this is you're not going to technically knead it. You're just going to keep flipping it, adding some more flour as you go. And you're going to do this, oh geez Louise, when the dough's ready. I'd say, I don't know, 3-4 minutes. When it's ready, I will be back. Okay. It is done. And while you're turning it and flipping it around, you're going to end up needing to incorporate a good amount of flour into it, because it's a pretty sticky dough. But now we're going to leave it like that, cover it just with your bowl, and then let it sit for about 15 minutes. Alrighty. Time's up. It sat long enough, and now we're going to get it going. But to make it a little bit easier to deal with, I'm going to cut it in half here and do half at a time. We're going to roll it out. Let's get some flour up on here though. It is a sticky dough, so don't don't think you did anything wrong. You're going to need a lot of flour. So, see that? We're going to want to roll it out to about, look at that. Look how I'm doing that. Not very pretty looking, is it? About 1/8 of an inch, but don't get hung up on that. You know, you want it kind of thin, but you definitely don't want it paper thin, because you're going to need to have it seal up good. I don't like how thin it's gotten over here, so I'm going to re-roll that. But it seems like a lot of effort. Well, at least in today's day and age it does, but it's really going to be worth it. Okay, when you got your goofy looking dough already, get a cutter, or I'm just using the top of a canning jar here. You want something that's between, say, 3 and 4 inches. And just start getting those cut out. Use this. Most things come in handy, don't they? I'm just going to put them off to the side. Okay, I got them all out of there. You're going to save this dough. You can roll it out and make some more. Overall, this recipe should get you at least 25 to 30 pierogi. Okay, so let's grab this over here. I don't need to show you doing all of them, but I'm going to do a few of them. So I have a cookie sheet here with flour on it. Trying to get some of this off my hands. And what I'm going to do is, you're going to take this, and you're going to take roughly a tablespoon. And you're going to put it straight on there. Just get it all in there, and you're going to pull, the pierogi dough over, like across, like this, and you're going to pinch it, pinch it together like this to seal it up. Now if it doesn't seal good, just go ahead and get your fingers a little bit wet, and that'll work. And then we're going to take the little pierogi here and put it on the cookie sheet. The reason there's flour on there is so that it doesn't stick to the cookie sheet. And you want to make sure when you're doing these, don't let them stick to each other on the cookie sheet either. Get that out. You know, it kind of looks like, oh no, it won't fit, but it'll fit. Believe me. You're going to get pulled over. And again, pinch that all together. Scooch that in there. Get all this in there. You don't want these coming open because it'll make a mess when you start to boil them up. This one's, there we go. This one looks a little funny, but it's sealed. So I'm going to finish up with the rest of these. Alrighty. The water is boiling, and we are ready to get some of these pierogi in there. But I just want to let you guys know, if you have like 25, 30 pierogi and you don't think you're going to eat them all, you know, within the next day or two, what you can do is just take that cookie sheet here with the pierogis on them and stick it in your freezer until they're frozen. Well, it shouldn't take that long. And then put the frozen ones into a baggie, and they will freeze fine. You know, they'll stay there fine for like up to 3 or 4 months. And then when you want to use them for a future dinner, just pull out what you need and go ahead and boil them. Now since I took that lid off, it's not boiling very well, huh? These electric stoves, I tell ya. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and put these in the water. You don't want to put too many of them. You don't want to crowd your pan. I'm hoping that's boiling well enough. I think it is. And see, they will sink directly to the bottom. When they float, they're ready. Put one more in there. Should take about 2 or 3 minutes. They are ready. I had to put the lid back on to get this to boil. I'm using a slotted spoon here. Trying to get off as much water. So they're a good size once you cook them up. And they would make a great dinner on a meatless night. I'm going to be having these though myself tonight with ham steak and some applesauce. Now, you could eat them exactly like this, add a little salt and pepper, and you're good to go. It's delicious. Or you could take it one step further, like I'm going to, like a lot of people do who eat these, and saute them. I'm going to move you over a little here with a little more butter and onions. If you're worried about the butter, you can use oil. You can use a combination of butter and oil, whichever you prefer. And really, they're cooked through already. So what we're going to end up doing here is we're just going to brown them. And I'm not going to brown the onions this go around. I just want those to soften up a little bit. I love onions. You don't have to use more onions, but that's what I'm doing here. And when you saute them a little bit, they get a little bit crisp, especially on the edges. And it makes them just that much more delectable. They're all done. They smell heavenly. Oh, and by the way, some people like to put sour cream on these. Sour cream and chives. That sounds like a great idea. I've never done it. I just do well, let's just try them, shall we? Mmm. They're so good, you guys. So good. Now, if you've never had these before, and you're not sure if you're going to like them or not, so you may not want to make the recipe, they do often sell them in the frozen section of the grocery store. I don't know all the brand names, but one that I would pick up fairly frequently, especially when the kids were younger, is Mrs. T's. So you may want to look that up. They're wonderful for busy nights because when you get them frozen like that, literally you put them in some boiling water in like 3-4 minutes, they're done. So they make an excellent side dish, especially like running the kids to soccer, or they're your grandkids and you're going to something for them at school, or just it's a church night, whatever, and you're busy, but you want to eat real food. Go ahead and try that, or make your own, freeze them, and you can always have them on hand. Well, anyhow, I hope you guys liked the video. I appreciate you taking the time to watch. That was awesome of you. Thumbs up if you did like it, and make sure to subscribe if you're not a subscriber yet. I think you'll really like it here. It was nice talking to you, and you take care.